everybody. Welcome back to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Vargas, also known as the Goosebumps Channel. Today, I am joined once again by my four cohorts: Bjorn Panlick, also known as Goosebumps Saucy Fan; Nick Shaw, also known as Shawin, the Ultimate Goosebumps Man, and Minnesota Goosebumps Fan. Great to have you back, guys.
Good to be here.
Sorry for a second.
And today we are going to be talking more Goosebumps. And if you like the show, go ahead and give us a sub over here at Goosebumps channel for more Goosebumps videos and Goosebumps Crew episodes when they arrive. And of course, go and follow all these wonderful people on their YouTubes and their social medias. Seriously, they really deserve it. So today on our docket for the Goosebumps Crew, we're going to be talking about Goosebumps merchandise, and more specifically, some of the recent Goosebumps merch that's been popping up in the last 5 years or so. There's a lot of companies that are making their own Goosebumps apparel and their own Goosebumps merch, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're also going to be talking about some of our most sentimental pieces of our Goosebumps collections and the stuff that we hold near and dear to our hearts. And then later, we will also be talking a little bit about Goosebumps video games and a brand new one that will be coming out early next year. So, I think we're going to start out with our thoughts on Goosebumps merchandise, and I think the best place to start is the uptick in recent Goosebumps merch. There's been a lot of small companies in the last few years. I'd say ever since 2018, there's been sort of an uprise in new Goosebumps shirts and apparel that's been coming out courtesy of smaller businesses. And stuff like Trick or Treat Studios that have been making their own masks and their own merchandise and their own stuff like that. So I think the best place to start off is with Trick or Treat Studios. What do you guys think of the Trick or Treat Studios Goosebumps collection?
Oh,
Chef's kiss.
Like you're first, Sean.
Oh, chef's kiss, man. Like, it's funny because I go to conventions, horror conventions and stuff, and I'll see Chris Zeffro there once in a while, and I'm fairly certain he doesn't even know my name. He just calls me the Goosebumps guy. So anytime I'm there, I always ask what he's got cooking for Goosebumps. And last time he told me before it was even announced that they were doing figures. Going forward, oh man, I'm hoping for so much more. Like they've already for sure said there's going to be a wave 2 of the figures. Which we will get into that discussion here in a little bit. I'm so excited for those, though. That is easily the greatest thing I think they've done and decided to do was figures. I mean, they're based on the books. They look amazing. And when's the last time that we actually got Goosebumps action figures? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we've really ever gotten true action figures. So beyond excited for Tots to see where they can go and where they can take that Goosebumps franchise.
They're exciting.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, like honestly, the only sort of action figures that I can think of are literally those. Oh my God, dude, you read my mind when you grabbed that. Yeah, like in terms of figures, that's pretty much like the only thing that I can think of. And I mean, I guess the collectibles, in a sense, like they're sort of like figures, but they have like the little stand thing. But yeah, no, I'm really excited too about the Trick or Treat Studio stuff. I mean, recently, Joan actually sent me the magnets, so really, really exciting. So this is just a taste of what we're starting to get now with some of the new merch, but also, of course, the Loungefly bags. That was very just out of nowhere. Like, I don't think any of us expected that. And seeing as though Loungefly is owned by Funko, it makes us wonder, are we
If
going
we'll
to get
get Funko Pops. Yeah, I'm
Please,
surprised we
Funko.
haven't already. It seems like there's Funko Pops for about every franchise that's ever existed. So, but not Goosebumps. So hopefully we remedy that soon. But I'm glad you brought up Loungefly, because Loungefly, for those who did not know, about a few months back, Loungefly released their own sort of Goosebumps collection. Loungefly is a company that makes sort of little backpacks and tote bags and wallets. And they make some for all different kinds of franchises, and they released their very first Goosebumps licensed one, which, as you can see, as Bjorn is grabbing right now, they had released a few Slappy-themed ones. One is the big Slappy backpack, and that is just an absolute beaut, and Yep, the mouth does move. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure the mouth moves. And then they also made a pocketbook and a wallet, all officially licensed Goosebumps merchandise from Loungefly. Very cool stuff. And there's even talks about a possible Haunted Mask one that will be coming out sometime next year. So very, very excited for that. Hopefully we get some more because those are really, really cool. And another thing I want to bring up is I don't know about you guys, but there has been a lot of Goosebumps apparel coming out lately. Goosebumps shirts, Goosebumps jackets, Goosebumps sweatshirts, Goosebumps hats, all sorts of stuff coming out, whether big stores, little stores, online, in-store. There seems to be a lot coming out. Do you guys have any like favorite Goosebumps shirts you've gotten in the last few years?
Oh, yeah. So it's not a shirt, but I think everybody can see this right here. This
The purple
is a Goosebumps Book Club jacket. It's the coolest like merch I've ever seen. On the other side it has a splat that was on like the old merch, and it says 92 on it. It looks awesome. Has Curly up there. It says Book Club, member since 1992. Yeah, it looks literally straight out of the 90s. It looks awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was done by Creepy Co, if I remember right.
Yep.
Well, I was about to say you're wearing a Creepy Co Goosebumps shirt right there too, aren't you?
Yeah.
I got my Haunted Mask on. That's also from them. Although,
Yep, no.
oddly enough, like they've been
Beautiful.
down since like the end of August. I've reached out to Creepy Co to find out if they're coming back because I mean I love their Goosebumps merch. I mean you saw what Soda's got there, what I'm wearing. They made blankets, which I've got all of, and they've got tons of other really nice merch for Goosebumps. But I never got a response, so I'm really worried that they maybe just went under. But
The
I've never been
blankets
able
were
to find
really
out.
cool. The blankets, especially the one I have, is the VHS cover one, and I'll put a photo of that up here right now. But the blanket of that's like the haunted, no, not the haunted mask, the Welcome to Dead House VHS tape, and it's just a whole blanket of that, and I was just flabbergasted. I was like, this is so cool. And another thing from I think Creepy Co did a lot of great shirts with the book covers on them. They not only did like Haunted Mask and Living Dummy, but they also did like Say Cheese and Die and One Day at Horrorland. They had a great Goosebumps collection. I'd say a great piece of apparel that's my personal favorite is one that's actually come out within the last few months, courtesy of Hot Topic, and it is a Haunted Mask sweatshirt that has the Haunted Mask on the front with the Goosebumps logo. It has Goosebumps splats on the sleeves, and then on the very back there is a Haunted Mask, Tim Jacobus Haunted Mask artwork on the back and a big splat. I don't have it on me right now because it's laundry day, but I will probably put a picture of it up right here. But that's probably my favorite piece of Goosebumps apparel within the last few years, besides my Goosebumps hat.
I have that same one, and I didn't know buying it because it was just Haunted Mask and I wanted it, but it glows in the dark, and I mean like bright. And I found this out after going to a haunted house, so I stuck out like a sore thumb in there because I was glowing so bad.
Everyone knew you were a Goosebumps fan there now.
I was, and then I was a Goosebumps fan. Like it was pretty wild, but yeah, that's probably my favorite piece. Like I did buy a Kohl's. Kohl's is another one that's got shirts on there right now. Even a Camp Jelly Jam, which I thought was kind of wild because you never see Camp Jelly Jam.
Dude,
The Haunted Mask was on there, so I bought it.
hit me up.
And
Camp Jelly Jam. I need it. I need it. Everything to do with Mr. Buddy King Jelly Jam. I need everything. So yeah, man. I'll take absolutely everything I can get with what little merch they have done.
when are we gonna get a chicken shirt? I want a whole chicken shirt.
I would wear it. I would actually wear it, like just for the fun of it. I mean, like we said, hey, the cover is iconic. It's iconic.
Mm-hmm. No,
Terrible cardboard
Great
cutout, like bears and stuff. That's just the face cutout and of that chicken poster. And then you can take a picture of yourself in there since you love chicken.
Oh man.
Ooh, Soda's got a really nice. Is that a shirt or is that a sweatshirt?
It's like
Just a
shirt.
t-shirt.
It's pretty
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome, dude. I like that. That's really
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Got some more up there.
You
Got
got it.
Abominable Snowman, Living Dummy 3. Also got, just like what Shawan has on, a Hawaiian shirt, except it's not the same one. It actually has like a bunch of the old logos instead of like just the G splats. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. I
Yeah.
think they had like many different one of those like button-up shirts, but they were really cool. Going back to Trick or Treat Studios really quick, because before we started getting the magnets and the masks, and I think they also have like wrapping paper for Christmas. Like that's pretty cool. They had Goosebumps masks and Goosebumps props. And it's been a little harder to find those now. I think there was some sort of legal trouble in terms of holding the rights onto the TV show. We're getting a lot more book merchandise, and we were talking about this before the show, but it seems like Trick or Treat Studios has gotten a hold of the book rights and not necessarily the TV rights anymore, which was not the case a few years ago because they were making masks and props that were based off the Goosebumps TV show, including a haunted mask replica. They had a Slappy mask replica. They had Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns from the TV episode. They had the Old Man mask from Haunted Mask 2. And then, of course, they had the large Slappy prop that's actually becoming a bit of a rarity now because it is supposedly being discontinued. So for those of you who have those out there, you're lucky now. You consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, that's actually one thing. It's funny because I did ask about that a long time ago, like why they lost the license. Now, originally they said it was Scholastic that was hard to work with, which I've heard that from more than just one person, and not at that company. I'm talking about other companies too. I guess whoever does their licensing approval stuff is hard to work with. You wouldn't think so, as long as you're making a good product and it looks accurate to what they want, why not just, it's a license to print money. You know what I mean? So I think that's really odd. So they lost the license, ended up getting it back. And now I'm hearing that they don't want really to do anything with the 90s TV show. Now, a lot of that could be just due to the new TV show. They don't want to have like comparisons or anything, even though that's going to happen anyway. I think it's weird. But so the whole gist is they just kind of want to distance themselves from the 90s show, which I feel is a huge mistake. I mean, that's what a lot of people know and grew up with. Even if you didn't read the books, I mean, people know that theme song. People know that show. So, I mean, it's quite amazing to think that that's the reasoning behind that, is just because there's a new show.
Wait.
You're right, the Slappy TV prop, I don't think that's happening. They had it in their catalog that first year when they brought Goosebumps back, and it's been 2 years now without it. But rumor has it, because they were doing a lot of stuff from books, that they're going to do a book version Slappy that's life size. So
please,
that could be
full speed ahead, go
the
for
actual
it.
book.
Like actually from the book.
Yeah, and here's even more proof that although, yes, a lot of people from the 90s definitely have a lot of nostalgia from reading the books, but that TV show, like we all know, was kind of the kickstart to how absolutely massive the franchise quickly came to be. And just today, in Democratic Foundation class, my teacher, someone calls him, his phone ringtone is the Goosebumps theme. That's how much people
Mine is
remember
too.
that show.
Nice.
That's my text tone is the Goosebumps like jingle. So sometimes it'll go off and people will be like, "Is that Goosebumps?" It's like, "Yeah, I gotta take this."
Like
I gotta
I've
take this.
Trick or Treat Studios, like they're still selling the TV show masks on their website. Like I've seen them; they're still up for sale. And I actually saw the Trick or Treat Studios haunted mask replica in a Spirit Halloween this year, which was really cool. I didn't get it because Spirit Halloween's very overpriced, but
That's crazy.
No,
man.
don't buy Trick or Treat.
They're allowed to make products they already made before. They just aren't allowed to make new products.
PSA. Do not buy Trick or Treat Studios mask from Spirit Halloween. You could probably get that $10 cheaper just buying it through the website. I guarantee you. Because those prices are
Use a Spirit
astronomical.
coupon, or wait till after Halloween's over if it's still there. You get 50% off.
They're already expensive enough.
You will be paying $70 out of pocket at least for a mask from Trick or Treat Studios at a Spirit Halloween. So do not buy them off Spirit Halloween. It's not worth it.
In Australia, there's a website called Pop Culture, which is like our main source of like pop culture merchandise to get here. And they have pretty much all the Trick or Treat Studios masks on there still, like the Slappy one, the Jack-o'-lantern, the Haunted Mask 1 and 2 masks. And yeah, they mentioned to me that they may even be getting the magnets. So I think we do get stuff here, just a lot later, of course. But yeah, it's weird going on that website, and they have even the Tim Jacobus illustrated Goosebumps movie soundtrack on the vinyl. They even have that on there. So it's pretty cool. Like, we still get stuff here. It's just more of like we get it a lot later.
A little delayed. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing about. Well, and you guys in Australia get a lot of stuff that we don't get here in the States too. One thing that comes to my mind is because I love collecting the VHS tapes, and you guys overseas actually got a few that we did not. I believe you guys got the Welcome to Camp Nightmare on tape, and we did not. Same thing with Return of the Mummy, which is I hear that's like actually a really rare one, but you guys got that one overseas too.
What's crazy is the Welcome to Camp Nightmare one, the copy that we got is actually a UK copy. But from what I've been told, they actually imported it to Australia and sold it in stores, which is why I ended up finding one at a market. And that's what the lady told me. She said when Goosebumps was so popular, they ended up importing it from the UK to sell like in different stores. And I thought that was just such a bizarre thing because of like the Goosebumps hype. But I was like, why couldn't they have done the same with like One Day at Horrorland or Werewolf Skin? Because we didn't get those. But we did get Welcome to Camp Nightmare, which was very, very bizarre. Like, it wasn't like an Australian copy though. It was a UK one, but they imported different stores around Australia, imported it and actually sold it. So
brief tangent.
Yeah.
Why did we not get Haunted Mask or Werewolf Skin or Cuckoo Clock of Doom on DVD? Those are the only episodes to not have physical releases in the US. And I'm mad. I am mad.
Yeah,
because
I have answered that
Mask is the
solution.
most
I just made a
popular
custom.
episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool, man. I love that.
You made your own, and that's awesome. That's what we should have got. Like, that is like
Yeah.
exactly what we should have
That cover too, man. Like, that's the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, that is the cover. But
That
I
that's
is
also designed one for Google Clock of
Yeah.
Doom. I don't have it with me, but
oh man, it's
No,
so impressive.
you should you should pull a nostalgia video and sell those like online, just the cases, so people can display them.
I've always been wondering though if that's like legal or not. That's the main issue I have.
I think as long as you're not selling the actual episode, then it's considered okay. I think if you're selling the episode, then it's illegal because it's copyright.
Right.
But if you're just selling a blank DVD with a case that just has artwork in it, I think you're fine.
Okay.
Like I said, that's what Nostalgia Video, which all those tapes up there, most of them are commissions, most of them are custom made, but it's basically just a blank tape, and then you can record the episode yourself, and then you have it for your own use.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because
all those tapes are playable.
Commissioned me
Those
to make
aren't
a
just
couple
decoration;
customs for
those
him.
can
So
be played, and you can watch the episodes on those.
mm-hmm.
Got to GoFundMe to release the Haunted Mask.
Yeah,
And you've already
like,
done the cover art, Ultimate Goosebump, man. You've already done the cover art. Like that's it.
well, and we haven't gotten an official Goosebumps DVD or physical release since like 2012 when the 20th
Mhm.
anniversary was coming out. I think it's because of streaming, like because
Probably.
at the time it was all on Netflix, so they were probably like, well, we don't have to release anything on physical media anymore. But now it's not even on Netflix. So also we had a theory that because it was taken off Netflix and the new show was coming out, that it was going to be put on Disney Plus, and that has not happened yet. So
Crazy.
right
Which I
now
thought was odd,
Goosebumps
but then
exists
again, it
on
makes
the dark web.
to distance themselves from the 90s show. They're not going to put the 90s show on the same streaming service as their new Goosebumps show they're trying to promote and push the crap out of.
I still just think it's
Oh.
weird because I'm pretty sure Disney owns the rights to the old show because it was Fox owned, and they own Fox, so you
And yeah, the
I
fact
don't
that we still don't have an American Blu-ray or DVD box set of the whole show just ticks me off.
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
I hope
if
that
you want
with
one, just consult me.
I hope that with the rise in all this new merchandise, that eventually we do get something like that. Like at some point, something's got to give. People know
Hopefully.
that this show is popular, so I don't know. I think it's mostly just comes
I
down
thought we
to
were going to get it for the 30th anniversary last year, to be honest. I thought with how minimal everything was going to be, I thought there'd be a 30th anniversary for the first time on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, how they promote stuff. Like,
I
I
mean-
thought that was
I
gonna
mean,
be,
maybe in 2025 when it's the 30th anniversary of the original show.
Oh,
Maybe. hopefully,
That's a-
let's hope.
that'd be a
well-
good idea. Yeah.
If anyone is
like-
listening to this that has ties to connections to that, take notes. Seriously, take
Like,
notes. We want a Blu-ray set.
just like
With some
For me,
special
yeah.
features.
Seems like a
don't
lot
get
of those Fox Kids
Yeah.
shows haven't really gotten physical releases. I feel like it's like stuff like Eek the Cat still hasn't gotten like. I don't think it even has a DVD release. You can only really find that show through like old recordings on like in 1995 or something like that.
oh, it's
So-
insane.
It's weird.
Like, you can get like the individual ones that you guys got, like for like Go Eat Worms or Night in Terror Tower, things like that. We only got a box set, so I don't get it. Like it's weird.
The
We
DVDs
got-
were lackluster anyway. They had no special features. The ones before 2008 didn't even have like a DVD menu. It was like one promo for like just a bunch of like random kid shows, and then it just
Strawberry
plays the
Shortcake.
episode.
Yep.
Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah, Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah,
Yeah, Strawberry Shortake.
I borrowed a Ghost Next Door
It's
for
like
DVD from the
Christian
library once, and I
buggy
remember
show?
seeing
Like,
that.
I don't remember what it was called, but like, yeah, it would just play that, and then it just plays the episodes, and it's like, there's no like special DVD menu. There's no special features like that.
Mm.
What a
That's
freaking
I mean, these don't have special features, but these at least had a menu.
They at least had a DVD menu, and they had pretty cool looking covers. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I love the Tim Jacobus covers, but I like the ones they did for the new DVDs.
Yeah, same. I mean, obviously that's why I base my customs on, just because I think this style is honestly cooler than the original DVD designs.
Yeah.
Well, at the same I mean, at face value, sometimes you confuse yourself as like, is this a book or is this a DVD? Because they look so similar to the 2000 reprints.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's just annoying too, because like those original DVDs only had like one 2-part episode on them, which is like really not worth the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like versus like Monster Blood, for example, has 4 episodes on it.
I think that was
Yeah.
the most on one DVD was
Yep.
Monster Blood. I think every other one at the very most had like 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Like Go Eat Worm. I have Go Eat Worms here. This had 3. All the ones that were like named after 2-parters usually had 2, like Terror Tower. The only one that didn't was Attack of the Mutants, because that had Attack of the Mutants and then Phantom of the Auditorium.
Wow. So
Um,
interesting, like finding this out.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I still think, why didn't they just do the Haunted Mask 1 and 2 as a DVD? Like have part 1, like both episodes on a DVD. Like why would they just do the Haunted Mask 2? Like I don't see why they didn't just do both. You know?
Well, and I shouldn't say that because we still technically have Haunted Mask 1 and Werewolf Skin on physical media. It's just
Mhm.
VHS only. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom hasn't been released on tape or on DVD.
Oh,
Whoa!
yeah,
Oh.
nothing for
Nothing. We have not
Jesus.
gotten a single thing. You had to have watched it on Netflix, or now it just exists on like the dark web, I guess. You have to pirate it.
Actually,
I also
Oh,
have a
dude.
bootleg. I have a bootleg Blu-ray set that has the whole show, so that's how I've watched Cuckoo Clock of Doom.
Oh wow, that's sick. And it's even got like the
Well,
oh,
this
what
is
was it?
I custom designed this cover. This isn't what it
oh,
came
I was
with.
gonna say,
I got
that's
it.
not the
but-
same one I saw.
That's the
Uh,
Enjoy the Rides that did the vinyl. You know how they did the vinyl of the TV
Yep.
series and the audio cassette? That's the Enjoy the Ride cover.
Yeah,
And
that's the one I
actually,
wanted
that
to
is a
use
perfect
for, 'cause the other
segue
one was like that
into,
weird, like the original version. This had that weird like Netflix picture with like the weird house, and then the
Which I'm guessing, yeah, it was Welcome to Dead
like, it
House.
looked weird, and like the back was like just random spliced images of the show and stuff like that, and it just didn't look good. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I like that way more. I may be buying that one from you if I get that Blu-ray set.
I mean, dude, you're pretty freaking talented at making DVD covers.
thank
Like,
you.
seriously,
Dude.
that Haunted Mask one was like next level. I almost, honestly,
Sure,
I
you need to
almost
get
thought that they finally were releasing it on DVD, and I got really excited. And then I found out that it was a commission, and it's a great commission. But I found out it was a commission. I was like, man, We're never gonna get this episode.
Oh, dude.
But that is a
Well-
perfect segue into moving on to the next part of our recent Goosebumps merch topic, is stuff like Enjoy the Ride Records, who released the Goosebumps television soundtrack finally on CD, vinyl, and on cassette tape, which is fantastic. I mean, I think the first time we got the TV soundtrack, it came from the 90s on YouTube, worked in conjunction with Jack Lenz to release the soundtrack on YouTube, and then but then we finally got it actually on physical media, which was amazing, and it came with that stunning cover art. Like, that was just incredible. That was amazing cover art.
So the
I
CD
remember
back in the 90s, I thought when I bought it
back
at
then.
the time, it was going to have all the music from the show, and it really only had the intro to the show, and the rest of it was just kind of
Was it
Other
the Sounds of Halloween CD?
yeah. So I was like,
Yeah, that one is just like it's
Oh,
one of those things that you just play at a party, and it's just like weird
Oh.
noises.
Some of the tracks were at the Disney World. You know how they had the stage show at Disney World back in the 90s? Some of the tracks that were on that Sounds of Halloween CD, they used during the show. If you go back and watch it and you listen to some of the sound effects, they're on that Sounds of Halloween CD. So it's almost like they just used that.
They
the
probably
stage.
did.
It was really weird. Like,
I mean, it
like
was
some
it
of the
was
screen-
Disney made, so they probably just had the license to it, and we're like, all right.
Yeah. Let's just
Uh,
use this.
And
This
another
works.
thing we've gotten, courtesy of the Goosebumps musical team, we got a lot of merch from that production too. For those who, apparently there's people out there that still don't know that there's a Goosebumps musical out there. For those who don't know, there is a Goosebumps musical out there based on Phantom of the Auditorium. And the crew behind that, yeah, I also got my own signed framed poster up there. But that team actually made a lot of their own Goosebumps merchandise based on the show, and that's incredible. I mean, I just love that musical got so big, and they were able to release a studio-recorded CD and cassette. I mean, if any of you guys watching have not checked out that musical, or it's coming to your town near you, please go check it out. Like, the people behind that made so much passion and love for it. And I hope they do another one. I hope they adapt another book for a future musical.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked them one time, like, if you could adapt another book into a musical, what would you do? And they said Ghost Next Door. So
Good. That would work
That would be-
well.
that would be really cool.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of recent Goosebumps merch coming out of independent companies, but Scholastic's also been slowly but surely putting out more Goosebumps stuff. There's been a lot of new Goosebumps board games coming out. The most recent one as of right now is Goosebumps Race to Dead House, I think it's called. And it's obviously based on, it's kind of a general Goosebumps game. That's the thing that kind of sucks, is that these games don't necessarily adapt one book. They're just kind of like a hodgepodge of things, sort of a general thing. But there is a brand new Goosebumps board game coming out for next year. It is, I think it's just called Goosebumps the Game.
Yeah. It's actually coming out in
And-
December.
Yeah.
originally had a
On
release date of
order.
December 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had.
Well, and it's cool because, and I'm looking up the details right now, but it's based off 5 different books. The Haunted Mask, Go Eat Worms, which is there like somebody paying under the table to get this book more attention?
Hey.
Because
Like
It's
the
There's-
new show,
I'm
they
guessing it's a
will.
tie into the new show in some ways, but
I think so, because there's also Cuckoo Clock of Doom, and Say Cheese and Die, but then there's also The Girl Who Cried Monster, which I'm glad that book's getting more attention.
mm-hmm.
No
Um,
Slappy for once.
Yeah, this is
that
a
was shocked when I saw that.
this is a game with no Slappy to be found, and that is crazy.
Not don't jinx it, because if somebody watches this podcast and they're like, who works for that company, they're like, oh shit, dude, we didn't put Slappy in it. Now it's delayed. Now they put Slappy in it.
Now they gotta rush to put him in the game.
I mean, they could
Well-
do a second game, like an expansion with Slappy. I mean, that's another way to do it. Like, some games have like the expansion things. They could do an expansion of it with Slappy.
They could
I would
do
love
one that's just
Something
Goosebumps
like that.
Slappy
I think
the
that'd be
game.
Slappy the game. That reminds me of a video I used to watch way back when. It was just some random fan video, and I'll share this with you guys after the show. It was just called Slappy the Movie 2009, and it's just some kid like in his backyard. Have you seen that, Soda? When I was a little kid, I used to watch these Goosebumps videos all the time, and I would always come across these fan-made stuff, and that was one of the ones, and I rewatched it recently, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Because it's one of those Slappy dolls, and they're just tossing it around, and they're like, I think the description says like, "No, Slappy, don't do it. We'll find your father."
I remember that. And I used to watch them and just laugh. I was like probably 14 at the time, but I used to think this is hilarious that these kids are like destroying a Slappy doll. But, like, it was so funny though.
There was another one that was like, it was so old that it was recorded off of a camcorder screen, but it was this teen, this young adult in his house, and Slappy's just there, and he thinks he's a cat. He's just like, "Whoa, it's a cat!" He's like, "I'm not a cat."
There was another one.
A cat can talk.
There was another one called Night of the Living Dummy. It was literally just called that, and it was like this group of like little kids. I'm talking like 6, 7 years old. Wait.
Didn't they wasn't it the one where they like put him in a box and they tossed him down the stairs, and then it cuts him? He has like, because the Slappy doll's hands are just like this, but they put like a little paper cutout gun in there, and it's just like, pew.
It was the one where there was like the lightning effects that was done, looked like it was done on like Adobe or something. Do you remember that? I think that was the one, right? And it had like the really like cringe like effects, but it kind of worked because at the time it was like, you know, it kind of fit with the whole 90s Goosebumps vibe. Oh man. That
yeah,
video,
it was so fun. It was so fun. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent. So basically, if you guys see there, so this game is gonna, it's a brand new, it's an unoriginal name, Goosebumps the game. Like, there's been a lot of Goosebumps games, but what I like about the packaging here is that it actually kind of looks like a book, and they have like the book spines on the side of the box, which is pretty cool. And then they have like cards that have the Tim Jacobus art on them, and there's like pawns and pieces. It's pretty neat. I don't know how, like, what kind of game it is, but it's bringing back the tried and true method of the old Goosebumps board games where you have to put stuff together. So that's fun.
Might have to cop.
And hey, Haunted Mask is one front and center of this game too. So Sean, your boy is
the day one pre-order for me.
My boy, my baby boy.
Because I immediately when I saw that, that was a day one pre-order for me. And I'm glad I snagged one because I went online the other day to look for one to maybe just get to keep sealed and while I open the other one, because I obviously have to open this one. But it's not even on Amazon anymore. So I don't know if they're planning on bringing it back
by the way,
later or what. But
and
looks like it's pretty quick because I actually had a lot of people message me too asking me, "Oh, where can I get this?" I was like, "I've only seen it on Amazon, but now it's not even there anymore." So hopefully,
I'll have to look it up. Maybe they didn't mean for it to come out so early, but it's coming.
Well, I mean, it's at least this is what Amazon put. Originally, they said it was supposed to be released December 18th. So, they want pre-orders filled and done before probably what was meant to be a Christmas present for people. Mm-hmm. But I know a lot of times when stuff sells out, their pre-orders are only so many on Amazon. So if they sell out, they take the item off the website so they can't be on there anymore, which does happen occasionally. Once in a while, they put a little thing that says, we hope to have this item back up. But now it just, like, when you click on it, it just says, oops, this page is not found. So they completely removed it.
I guess they'll probably bring it back up then once the game officially releases.
I was kind of thinking that too.
Yeah, no, I agree. And thank you so much for ordering one, dude, by the way. I have to say thank you. Because
I didn't think it was going to sell out that quickly, so I'm kind of kicking myself I didn't pre-order it now.
Yeah, and most recently, Steamlord, if you want to talk about this, we got Goosebumps toys, like we mentioned earlier, and these are easily the most hot topic as of late with these new merch items coming out, because people are on the lookout for whenever these are going to be released, probably early 2024, if I had to guess.
From what I heard,
And-
actually, like the Trick or Treat Studios talked, and they said they're coming out summer of 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at quarter 4 of next year.
The first time that they announced them, I think they said they were awaiting license, so they must have gotten approval to do them, which I sure hope so. And before we move on to our next topic, I think it's only fair to talk about the supposed wave 2 of these Goosebumps figures. What would we like to see? Because so far we have Curly, we have Slappy, the Haunted Mask, or Curly Beth, the Haunted Mask, the Mud Monster, and there's a fifth one.
Scarecrow and the Mummy.
Scarecrow and the Mummy. Yep. So we have 6 figures coming out for this first wave. So who do we want to see for this second wave? And I want to personally see. I know it's not really a character, but I want to see like a Monster Blood figure. So it could just be like a sludge pile or something. But like I'd like to see that.
A staircase with like just green goo like dripping out. You could even have the little like sun.
Yeah.
You could have the glasses that are just chilling on the stairs there too, the reading glasses and the goo. You could just recreate that. You know?
Yeah, that would be
I'm
cool.
hoping since Trick or Treat Studios does statues that they do a Goosebumps statue line, and they do that, but with like the green monster blood on the staircase as a light up feature.
Mm.
Like I think that
glows and it glows.
yeah.
Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah.
We need to
For
get a
me-
horror.
For me, a few of the figures that I would love to see. A Creep from Calling All Creeps. I would love to see one of those. The Jack-O-Lantern from Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns. Be great. Also be kind of cool if they did like a display based on the Ghost Beach cover.
A chicken coat.
Chicken! Yes! No, do a 6
Race
scale.
Adventure.
Chicken. Do like a massive one.
This is gonna be we're gonna try and make this a running joke to bring up chicken in every upcoming episode in some way.
Some love.
Yeah. The Praying Mantis would also be cool.
Yeah.
Or
Horror,
Big 6 scale.
horror, and Abominable Snowman.
Oh yes. Oh yes, that would be so cool. Well, of course, mine. I'm obviously going to say straight away. Can I have a figure of Buddy? But then, do we do King Jelly Jam or do we do Buddy? And I'm like, well, if they're doing the Blob, maybe go with Buddy. It's because they're doing the cover art. Like that's what
Yeah.
they're going. So I'd imagine it would be Buddy.
The
Do it.
Phantom of the Auditorium. Book sucks, but the character.
Oh, I think we have
Masked
some
Mutant.
disagreements here.
Oh, the Masked Mutant.
The Masked Mutant is a figurine. He is a figurine. It's
For the
fitting.
original line, but this new line, I'd like to see them do it for the new one.
yeah.
They should
I mean,
do Harry
I'm not
Larry.
a big fan of Attack of the Mutant, particularly the episode, but
They should do Harry
It's
Larry.
It works like
stuff.
it's
Can't really say those.
there's so many, like the Executioner, obviously,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from Cuddles.
Trying to think of who else.
Werewolf Fever Swamp, so I'm really hoping a werewolf comes out of this somehow, especially since that's like right in the same vein that Trick or Treat Studios does of stuff, like werewolves, monsters, stuff like that. So that would
Yeah.
be
I
perfect.
think the one thing though about the Werewolf of Fever Swamp is if they went with that, it'd be kind of boring since it's just a generic wolf. But
At least on the cover it is. I don't know about how it really looks in the. It's been a while since I read
Right.
Werewolf of Fever Swamp, but I don't know how they described it in the book.
I
But
feel like it'd be cooler for them to do werewolf skin since that's a bit more of a memorable cover look. If they're going strictly on the book covers.
yeah, I'm trying to think of another one.
werewolf skin. I mean, it's like, man, I don't know. It's tough. Like, I love the werewolf
Yeah.
whole thing with that, but
Kermit from Monster Blood 3.
I thought you were gonna say Kermit the Frog for a second.
Honestly, I imagine if they did a Werewolf of Fever Swamp one, it couldn't just be the werewolf. They would have to do like the little rock. I reckon it would have to be like a full like statue thing for the Werewolf of Fever
Yeah.
Swamp to look
Yeah.
really cool. I think.
Well, that's the
do
thing. It's
whole
like
rock,
they're
it would
doing.
sit there.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if they do like actual statues, then it opens the door a little more. In terms of figurines, you're kind of just doing one character, so it's a little
Yeah.
harder. But I mean, there's a lot of characters that could be done.
I mean, Sonic
I'd like to.
with Steve the Old Man mask.
I'd like to see a Mazo or the bunny from Bad Hair Day.
Yes.
People misconcept that's actually not a Mazo as the rabbit. It's
I know.
what is it? El Sydney is the name of
El
the
Sydney.
evil magician. El Sydney. That's the name of the rabbit, but for some reason people keep calling it a Mazo when he's actually not the rabbit in the book.
Well, is El Sydney in the book? Because I thought he was exclusive to the episode.
He might have been in the episode only. I that's just the name that I remember.
I think in the book it was a Mazo.
Was it? It's been a while since I read Bad Hair Day.
No, but I mean, Mazo got turned into a rabbit in the book. Because remember in the book, Mazo was like a giant puppet, and then he was turned into a rabbit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that the episode changed that. I just always think of the episode as like the way that it was. It's weird. But I remember the episode. The episode was funny because the guy who played El Sydney was just super extra in that episode.
But I rewatched the Harold and Kumar movies, and I actually didn't realize this until I thought he looked familiar, but I don't know if you guys remember, but there's like the stoner guy, and he has there's a lot of stoner guys in Harold and Kumar, but there's the one particularly at the university or the college, and he has like the big weed baby, and he calls it his baby. That's the dude from the episode from Bad Hair Day that plays the kid, the main kid. And I was like, hang on a minute. Is the stoner dude with like the huge ass bag of like weed from like Goosebumps? And sure enough it was. And
we'll go into this in a future episode.
He's got that great stuff.
We'll go into this in a future episode about actors that moved on to other movies. But I remember finding out that Freddy vs. Jason had not one, not two, but three former Goosebumps actors in there, and I was like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah,
Soda, you look very surprised.
Yeah, Evan from Monster Blood, Grady and Werewolf of Fever Swamp, and Kat from It Came From Beneath the Sink.
Yeah,
they were great conversations, like off, like when they weren't shooting. They would have been like, "Hey guys, remember that time on Goosebumps?"
Well, and we hope to get some of these people on here to talk with them. So. If we ever got any of these people, be like, hey, remember when you went from being chased by a werewolf to being chased by Freddy Krueger?
Step up.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
Well, it's funny, too, because you look at them and they're like, wow, they look different, but they also don't. Because when you
mainly the kid who played Evan in Monster Blood. When he's in Freddy vs. Jason as the stoner, I didn't even know he was the same actor because he looks completely different with the
looks completely different.
They play stoner. What's with them moving on to play stoner roles? Come on.
Well, they saw some shit, man.
They went through some shit as kids, okay?
What if that was the Goosebumps reboot? Is that everybody saw these monsters, but in actuality they were just really, really high? Just having a bad trip. No, there is no werewolf. You just overdosed on the crack, dude.
What's everyone's favorite Goosebumps items? Like, what is your most nostalgic, beloved Goosebumps items that you own?
This is my most sentimental piece of Goosebumps of my Goosebumps collection. It's not rare, but this was the exact library edition I had when I read this book for the very first time. This was the first Goosebumps book I ever read from beginning to end when I was 8 years old. And this was the copy that they had at my school library. Not the exact one, but it was this hardcover. So I found this and I said I had to have it. I almost got this signed by R.L. Stine, but I decided to go for something that was a VHS. But it's my most sentimental piece of my collection.
That's insane.
So, before we move on to this, I want to say the Trick or Treat Studios, if you're watching this, I want an R.L. Stine Build-A-Figure in the next wave.
They need to do an R.L. If they hadn't lost the rights to the
R.L.
series, they should have done a replica of the R.L. Stine dummy in Night of the Living Dummy 3.
Yes. Come on.
Missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity. And actually, the guy who made my Slappy behind me, I've been talking to him about doing that down the road too. So
and Rocky, we need a Rocky. Come on.
Yeah, be good from Night of the Living Dummy 3.
Give me Rocky and give me Dennis. Well, you can buy a Dennis doll. You can actually buy those.
Just not rock.
And he has a detachable head that falls off.
Yeah, like because like Dennis was just like a very generic ventriloquist dummy you can just find anywhere. Like,
Oh yeah, Minnesota. Your favorite items?
I have 2 favorite items in my collection here. One of them is for a completely different reason than the other. So I'll start with this one, since it's probably my second favorite. This right here is one of the pocket flashlights that came out. These surprisingly have definitely gone up in price as time moves on. I think it still works. Yep, it still works. I'm going to be careful with that. But yeah, it has, even on the back here, I'll get to the front in a second, but it has all those amazing, beautiful symbols we all love. And that's just in the back. The front, you can't scare me. Enter if you dare. Reading is a scream. Has all the splats like usual. And then even this thing that like you wouldn't usually see, squeeze center. It's in like the Goosebumps font and everything.
Squeeze center.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but it's just amazing. And then on top of that, Prince Koru. Oh, and it's probably out of these 4 it showcases, probably my favorite one, I'd say, because sorry. I think that's pretty cool. You know, like actually all of these are. I just love seeing these symbols, but that Prince Koru one is just awesome. I don't know why I love that so much. It really sticks with me too, this item, because Return of the Mummy is definitely one of my favorite Goosebumps books. I've heard so much smack about it like over the years, and Curse of the Mummy's Tomb was pretty good too. But Return of the Mummy, in my opinion, is a 10 out of 10 book. And then for my second item, this was before I found any books, before I found anything. I was looking for books, but on my first thrift I ever did in like mid 2018, Goosebumps puzzle. And it's not just any one. It's like a Halloween one. I have never found this online besides once, and it sold. So it probably is rare. I bet Aussie Fan has it, but
I do. I have 2.
All of these characters are some of my favorites, especially the mascot.
Yeah, keep rubbing it in our face, Bjorn.
It has just a beautiful artwork. These puzzles, some of them, I have 2 of them, both thrifted actually, from the same store, but such a long gap in between. Both of these, though, specifically this one, because it has all these 90s artworks on it, really holds a value in my heart, because when I was little, watching Aussie Fan was kind of the main thing that got me into Goosebumps. And I saw all of that crazy stuff, like just right behind him on his shoulder right there. You got some awesome curly artwork, just random stuff like that.
I think that's a standee, isn't it?
It boosted my love for the franchise.
They had it in stores.
Giant standee from Ruffles.
Oh yeah, that was when they were doing the Frito-Lay promotion. I think that was around the time that Haunted Mask 2 premiered.
I think
it's
so.
literally on the
that's actually
commercial.
eBay now, but man, that guy's asking, I think like close to $2,000 for it.
Yeah, I mean that one makes sense because that's such a rare commodity. Side tangent. Do you guys miss how old Goosebumps merch packaging used to look like with all the splats on there? They need to bring that back. That was so visually appealing.
Look at any of my thumbnails, you'll see that I am diehard for that. I love all of this stuff. It's just amazing. French kiss.
Brings a question I got for you, Soda. So last episode, you kind of said that Slappy wasn't your favorite. Kind of like all that stuff you're saying about that. But bro, you got Slappy as your profile picture. You got Slappy doll back there. You know, what's up with that?
Actually,
watch me edit in a rock.
This was an extremely good deal. I could not pass up $25 for that actual dummy too. It's not the plush. My profile picture is simply out of the love for the old artwork. Slappy is overrated. I don't care. I'm sorry. he honestly, out of
Man,
any of the
you're a
mascots
fighter.
they ever had, he's probably my least favorite.
Bro,
So Bjorn, you got thousands of Goosebumps items. What is your most sentimental piece?
I got two. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. I'll try. I promise. I'm gonna start with number two because there ain't much merch of this particular character. So obviously my favorite Goosebumps book is the Horror Camp Jelly Jam, like hands down number one favorite. And people always get confused when I say that because they're like, "Wait, I thought Slappy was." I'm like, Slappy is my favorite villain, has always been since I was a kid, but my favorite book is the Horror Camp Jelly Jam. It absolutely traumatized me as a kid reading that. The Series 2 collectible of Buddy, of course, this has to be in 2 items, and it still works.
man, that's not
I think what cracks me up is why they call it King Jelly Jam. They messed up on the there.
Is that King Jelly Jam? Is that King Jelly Jam himself?
90s. It's like they had no idea
Look
what,
at that
like,
winning
just
style.
went, oh, this is the cover. This must be King Jelly Jam, right? Like, and they just slapped that on there, made the toy like that, and was like, oh yeah, there's King Jelly Jam. It's like they looked at covers, but they didn't read the books. And I feel like there was a lot of that going on in the 90s with Goosebumps, particularly like Night of the Living Dummy. The original one obviously should have had Mr. Wood on the cover. But of course it was Slappy. But then again, I wouldn't change it for the world now because it's so iconic and nostalgic. Like, I wouldn't change that cover. You know what I mean? But it would be nice. I actually thought about this the other day. What if Tim Jacobus redid the cover but with Mr. Wood on it in the same style? That would be a really cool.
In the same
like-
pose as Mr. Woods.
Just commission him.
Mission. Honestly, I would.
come on the show. Maybe we can ask him about that. Maybe that's something.
Oh,
Maybe that's something
Yeah.
we can ask him.
How much are your commissions, Mr. Jacobus?
Yeah.
Are commissions open?
honestly, just be amazing. But my favorite Goosebumps item. Oh, actually, before I put it away, so this is what was interesting about it. The sticker, it's really hard to see,
Is
but
that Mickey the Mouse? Is
Mickey Mouse on it, and it says $5.
that Michael
I
Rat?
think this was sold at Walt Disney World, and I'm thinking that's why the Series 2 collectibles could be rare if they were only sold
Yeah.
shows. So I don't know if they were like a limited thing, but
Yeah, then
favorite
over the
Goosebumps
time,
item?
but yeah, over the times though, where like Disney World merchandise was only $5.
yeah.
Nowadays,
Oh,
like,
the good old days.
nowadays, it's like $30 for a frame picture.
How much would
Now
this
it's
cost?
$35 for
Probably
a
like
drink.
$30 nowadays.
At least.
Oh, it's insane how much things have gone up. But
Thank
yeah,
you, thank
for
you.
one favorite item is
Sir,
of course
that'll be a $2,000.
yeah, $2,000 now. The you guys know the story. I don't need to tell it. But then I'll give a very brief summary of the story. Saw it as a kid, multiple times. I had every other binder in this set, but every time I saw this one as a kid, it was never for sale. Someone owned it. It was at a vacation care that I used to go to that my parents used to drop me off because they couldn't be bothered looking after me as a kid. And this was the binder that was opened on the front desk with all the names in it, and you would sign your kid in. So now that I think about it, that binder that they had was used. It was written in. But this one is brand new. So I always saw it as a kid. It was never for sale. And it took me a good 15 to 20-ish years to finally get one. And now I
I'd have
actually
stolen it.
so yeah, it was always like the hunt of finding it from seeing it as a kid. So that nostalgia something, this automatically became my favorite Goosebumps item. And it's like, people always say, what the hell? Like, why? Like, it's a bind. Like, you don't understand. Or you don't understand the turmoil I had to go through to get this damn thing.
This
So,
binder haunted
How
me
many of those do you
in
have
my
now?
dreams.
3.
I have 4 now because it's weird. When I found one, I posted it, and then someone was like, "Hey, I've got one of those. Do you want to buy it off me?" I was like, "What?" So I ended up with 2,
Pigs fly.
and then I did a video showing the 2, And then a guy commented saying, "Oh, I've got that same one, but mine's a little different." And I was like, "Show me, show me, show me. What do you mean different?" And it was actually the colors. So basically, the colors were different of the splats, and it didn't have Carl Stein's name on it. So they actually did a re-release of it, but they took a few things off it. And I ended up with that one. Another one on eBay. So 4.
John, what do you got?
Favorite.
What about the clock?
The cuckoo clock. Oh, that's number 3. But that's for. I'll do a whole video just on that because, God,
I'm waiting for it.
Sean, what do you got?
Oh man, so it was a tough call because I wasn't sure if we were going the sentimental route or if we're just going by, something so cool we can't believe we own it kind of a deal. I mean, first and foremost, most definitely, weird as it is to say, it's not my very first book, which I still have, and it was The Haunted Mask, of course. It's what got me into mask collecting. It's what got me into art and Goosebumps and all that jazz. But, so I have a signed script of The Haunted Mask by all the cast members, and it was a production used one, but I also ended up going all the way to Green Bay, Wisconsin, as Isaiah knows because that's where I met him, to get R.L. Stein to sign this as well, since he did the intro and outro for the show.
I saw that with my own eyes.
He's my favorite piece probably I own. It's too hard to top. I do have a Hammond Sculpt's Haunted Mask. I have a couple of them that I really love. Very accurate to show. Obviously, I've got Slappy back here. But of all the other things I have, it's probably a sketch done by Tim Jacobus of the Haunted Mask. Because it's one of those things when you're a kid, if that's what drew you in was his artwork, would you ever think you had an actual sketch by the guy who did this for you, who changed your whole life? It's amazing to think about. Which it's on my wall, but I will gladly go get it. Hold on one second, because it's taken me this whole time to figure out what I want. So,
while we wait, what do you got, Ultimate Goosebumps man?
Okay, so I don't sorry, I don't have a lot in the way of merchandise, so I'm just kind of doing a couple of things that are sentimental for me. First thing I've got is my Monster Blood DVD, because I remember seeing this in Walmart when I was a kid and wanting it so badly, but I was never able to get it. And so just getting my hands on this was really cool to get, just getting it on eBay set. So I was really happy that I got this because it brought back a lot of memories of seeing this in Walmart back when they actually sold Goosebumps DVDs. And then my number 1 was probably the most sentimental to me. It's a book, and that is my very first copy of The Ghost Next Door, because this is my favorite Goosebumps book. This is the first book I ever read growing up, so it has a lot of sentiment to me. And this is one of the first books I ever bought and actually owned from the series. So it's always had some sentimental value to me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Nick, that artwork is awesome.
Underrated.
He made that for you specifically?
Yeah. So if you go to his website, not only does he sell prints of his art, which he'll sign and stuff like that, you can actually buy sketches from him. You can get multiple different covers that he's done, or you can request one. I think they're different prices now than when they were when I got this one back in 2021. But yeah, I reached out to him. I was like, hey man, can you do a Haunted Mask sketch? And I don't remember seeing it on the site at the time, but he was like, oh yeah, I can do that for you.
That's awesome.
Sent it over after he was done, signed it, put the year on there.
Oh, so beautiful.
That's awesome.
That is
I gotta get him. I gotta get him to do Haunted Mask 2. That's my favorite book.
I'm in awe. That's awesome. Alrighty. Well,
I should probably on the topic of the script, I should probably grab another thing to show in this video because it's just too cool to pass up.
I think I know what you're grabbing.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what he's grabbing.
I know exactly what he's grabbing.
I know exactly what he's grabbing.
No, that's awesome, Nick.
Also, before we wrap up the podcast, after Bjorn is done showing his other thing, Why don't we end it by each of us saying our favorite episode of the original show?
Well, actually, really quick, we're also going to talk about the Goosebumps games really quick and the video games.
Yeah.
So real quick before we jump topic on that, just because Netflix did take off the Goosebumps show from unfortunately from Netflix. But there is one guy who I think all of us follow, if not most, Super Nostalgic. He does have all those on his YouTube channel. So if you're looking to watch them, they are on YouTube.
And if you guys are subbed to the Goosebumps channel here, you guys do know that I've been slowly but surely uploading the original premieres of all the Goosebumps episodes. I believe I have 23 episodes uploaded to the channel right now. All original premieres from Fox or Fox Kids in the 90s. So if you guys want to check out the ultimate first experience, go check out those videos too. But yes, if you are looking for all episodes of the show in crisp, high definition quality, go check out Super Nostalgic's YouTube channel. And
really quick, awesome Goosebumps commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking love those things.
That is awesome. Does it have Hayden Christensen's?
It does.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I figured if we're gonna show scripts, like we have to show another one. I figured why not? But R.L. Stein's signature is nowhere to be found. But the voice of Slappy's on there. Blair Slater, who played, he's the guy that I've actually spoken to from the episode as well, who played, you guys know who Blair Slater played, right?
Daniel,
that's right.
And Cooper from Barking Ghost.
Oh, yes. So we got all of the, so this is my other sentimental piece, but yeah, you know what I mean? It's just so hard to pick two favorites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I had to pick another one, this is like a grail though. Like this doesn't even fall under merch. This is like history, you know, like basically it's not even merchandise. Like our script should be in a museum, dude. You know what I mean? Like, be like in our collection.
I met R.L. Stein. That's literally the first thing he said. He's like, "Where did you get this?" And I was like,
"Stole it."
He wanted it, man. He's like, "I'm R.L. Stein. You should give it to me."
We mentioned this in the last episode, but I will never ever forget when R.L. Stein came out on the stage and he saw your Slappy, Nick, and he just walked over and was just like staring at it. He's just like, huh.
The first thing he said to me was, Slappy's evil, right? And I was like, he's just misunderstood. And that's when he asked, who else out here has a Slappy? And then those ones like What's Behind Soda and the one that Bjorn has that, and I think you have it too, Isaiah, is the gray suit Slappy from the 90s. Like, man, I don't know how many of those were in the audience, Isaiah.
So many.
So many. Everybody's
it was incredible. I mean, we pulled up on that PopCon, and I was like, I did not expect like as many Goosebumps fans as there were, but like no matter where I went, there was somebody I could sit down and have a conversation with. It was like the first time in my life I was really to actually do that physically and not online. So that was a great experience.
Like, where have all these people been hiding? Like during all this,
where have these people been all my life?
But we don't gloat about it for some reason, you know. Like some of us do, but a lot of us just
we
kind
do.
Of
yeah, we do.
But I like what you said before about our favorite lines from the series. I mean, that's definitely a good thing to do because I've already got mine.
Anyway, so we're gonna jump topic to our final topic of the night. We want to talk a little bit. We've been talking about merch, and another piece of merch is video games, and there have been quite a few Goosebumps video games. Very recently, in fact, it's been announced, courtesy of Tweets to Give You Goosebumps over on Twitter. He was the person to announce that Cosmic Forces, the people behind Goosebumps Dead of Night, are creating a brand new Goosebumps video game, Goosebumps Tower of Terror. No relation to the Twilight Zone. Goosebumps Tower of Terror, which will be releasing on, I believe it will be releasing on PS5, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Next year, I believe spring of next year, it will be coming out. So if I were to guess, I think it's going to be pretty similar in style to Dead of Night. For those who don't know, Dead of Night was sort of a remake / extension of the mobile game Goosebumps Night of Scares, which was released around the time the movie came out. And it was okay. I thought Dead of Night was an interesting survival horror game. Graphically, it was a little for a PS4, Xbox One game. It was a little PS2-ish, but it was a fun game.
People thought that the mobile game Night of Scares was more scary than the movie was.
It was a pretty freaky. It was a pretty freaky game.
Honestly, like.
I mean, there was no way for you to fight against like any of the monsters in that game, so you had to hide like really quick, and then like if you're not quick enough, it was very FNAF like.
Especially with like Murder the Clown, like whenever you had to like hide under the bed in night 4, whenever you had to hide under the bed,
man, that is
murder would just appear next to you, like.
That's scary.
It's like
when the
so,
werewolf,
like
he's the only one that
Chapter
runs.
4 was so hard to do because you had to like in that bedroom, you have to like outwit murder and like try to lure him out before you go under the bed to get the page.
Oh
yeah, it was a creepy game, and yeah, it was a fun one. I think I completed that one. And the game ends with because Slappy's the main villain, of course, and in every chapter you have to catch him. And at the very end, he gets out again because he's using the cuckoo clock of doom to repeat the day. But eventually, he forgets that it makes you age backwards. So you see him like turn into a coffin, and then he turns into like a tree stump and just falls over. Like that was funny. Mm-hmm. I like that. But those weren't the only Goosebumps video games. Did you guys ever play the original Goosebumps PC games from the 90s, Escape from Horrorland and Attack of the Mutant?
I have a story. I'm sorry. I have to say this. I was at well, not really a relative. I was at my mom's coworker's like house for some reason with my family in the summer of like probably like the summer after the movie came out when I was just like getting obsessed with Goosebumps. And yeah, I was probably 7, 8. And they had the Attack of the Mutant game sitting next to this super old PC. And you know what? I didn't play it. I still wish I would have known. I didn't know that Goosebumps books like Attack of the Mutant existed. So I was like, what is this? And I was like, this is stupid. And I just went, nah. And they were like, do you want to be on the computer? And I'm like, what is this like super old computer? You could tell it was like some ancient
what is this ancient device?
So yeah, just an interesting story. But yeah, I've never played them sadly. They look really fun.
I haven't played them either. Unfortunately, it's because the games are older, so you need an older computer to work them. But they're interesting games. And Escape from Horrorland, which Bjorn is showing right now, was interesting because it was created by DreamWorks and Steven Spielberg's team. It featured Jeff Goldblum as one of the minor villains in the game. And even though it was based on Horrorland, it actually was kind of a big amalgamation of Goosebumps at the time. And it was a really like lavish production. There's a lot of behind the scenes videos on YouTube that you can find. It was a big deal when it came out, and Attack of the Mutant was just kind of a secondary thing. It was very much a 90s PC game. But that one, the Horrorland one, was definitely like the big one. And I think Pushing Up Roses on YouTube did a really good review of the game. If you guys want to go check that out, I'll probably put it in the up right corner here for you guys to go check out after this video. But it was an interesting game, so I wish I could have played it.
Wow. Yeah, I played them once as a kid. Like I had a loose copy. But of course, when I started getting really into the collecting, that's when I was like, no, I need sealed boxed copies, of course. But I had a loose copy of it, and I remember playing it when I was probably 6 or 7. So we're going 2001, 2002. And I got to admit, as a kid, it absolutely terrified me just playing the game. For some reason, like I was like, no, I don't want to go through this door. No, I don't want to go into there. No, I don't want to look under that thing. Like, I didn't want to go through the game because I was too scared. But now I just sit and, I check out the walkthroughs online, other people playing it, because I don't have a computer that can, play the game on it.
Unfortunately, you need a 90s computer to play a 90s game. Unfortunately.
They
And
should
then,
remake
Somebody's done an
another
emulator
GoFundMe game.
that actually.
after that, it wasn't until 2008 when we got Goosebumps Horrorland for Wii, PS2, and Nintendo DS. And that one is a little iffy because,
What?
I mean, it was coming out at the height of Horrorland. The new series was coming out. We were getting the series, the TV series on Cartoon Network, and it was coming out on DVD. And then you had this video game coming out for consoles, and it's kind of just a mini game thing. It's almost like one of those shovelware titles that is meh. It I don't know. I'm not super fond of the game. I played it and I was so bored. It was so short. And the story, there's not really much of a story. It's in Horrorland. I do like that there's different areas to Horrorland. It's not like just one big carnival. There's like the Vampire Village, and then there's Fever Swamp and Mad Labs, and I think the last one was Terror Tombs. So I like that they had different parts of Horrorland. I just don't think it was that interesting overall. That's just my opinion.
I have a lot of nostalgia of playing that game. That I might be blinded. I haven't played it in many, many years, but I had a massive road trip, and I played that game 24/7. It was like 2016 or something. And I still have a DS, I think, but it's just like I don't know where that game went. But the memories. I just remember playing those same mini games like probably 100 times. I don't know what I was doing. I also played. I had that and the like Goosebumps the game from the 2015 movie, and that one sucked. I played it like once or twice. I still have it for some reason. Apparently, I have that one, but not Horrorland. Still wish I had Horrorland. I have not found a copy of it ever, so probably won't get it.
What did you guys think of Goosebumps Horrorland? Did you guys play it when it came out?
Nope.
I played the DS version of it. I have the PS2 version, but I never had like I had a PS2, but when I got the game, I no longer had a PS2. But I did play the DS game quite a few times, and like you said, it was a bit, it wasn't that great. I mean, honestly, I'd prefer to play the old '90s game, to be honest. I just feel like there was a lot of actual love and heart put into that. I mean, but when you got someone like Steven Spielberg at the helm, like making a Goosebumps game, and it's what I love the most is the documentary like interviews from the actual game, and hearing Steven Spielberg talk about Goosebumps was just like the craziest thing ever. How he says, it was actually the first time, his kids like showed him the books, they wanted to read them to him. So like his kids, Steven Spielberg's kids, wanted to read the Goosebump books to him, and he said it's the first time they've ever wanted to read. So it was like, God damn, R.L. Stine really did like warp a lot of kids' minds in the 90s.
Well, that's great because there was. What were you
The
saying,
only
Nick?
game I play now is the mobile one, the Horror Town game. But even that, I've kind of like, I don't know, I've kind of cut back on it, mostly because to do anything in that game, pretty much you have to spend an exorbitant amount of money, like real money, not game money, like talking real money.
That's
just not me.
That's the drawback to those kinds of games. You gotta basically get out of. They're free to play. That's how they get you. They're free to play, but you need to pay money if you really want to play the game.
In that game, past level 25, it's basically impossible without spending money. It's you can hear it from Shine. It is just like level 25. As soon as you hit that level, nope, you are done. You can't play much more because unless you want to spend like $20, and then you can maybe play for another 5 levels. That's it. And then you have to pay another $20, $30, play to another 5 levels, 10 levels, and it's just like, come on, why buy in-game purchases when I can buy this stuff?
And it sucks because that game is probably the most deep-cut Goosebumps references of them all.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like I hate the art style for that game though. Like the designs of the monsters suck. Like Mr. Mortman, like his design in the game, like the monster design is like nothing how his book description is.
I guess.
Well, that new Goosebumps board game, I'm so happy they're reminiscing the TV show one with the big buggy eyes and all that. Because the one in Horror Town is so bad.
I say that episode was
Actually, you're right. That one sucked.
Absolutely traumatized me as a kid. But my brother, like, we had a burnt copy of The Girl Who Cried Monster that my mum burnt off TV one day because she's like, "Oh, Goosebumps, yeah, this is popular. The kids love it." We put that episode on, and my brother cried. Like he was so scared of that. He grabbed the tape and he like threw it on the ground and he stomped on it and he's like, "We're not watching this ever again. It's too scary." Actually, bawling his eyes out. Like, it was truly
kill it with fire.
Like, but the scenes where he's eating the bugs and stuff and the music, dude, it is actually
tarantula hanging out of his mouth like that.
But like the transformation scenes as well, you see his eyes like poke out of his skull and stuff like that. Like those effects are so good.
Oh, dude, that to me is Goosebumps, the TV series, at its finest and scariest. Like that was what defined the show in a sense for me. That episode, like this can be scary, like truly terrifying.
And that's why the Horror Town game version looks so shit.
Like in my opinion, like the two scariest
episodes,
like there are some genuinely scary ones, but the scariest episodes of the show were Girl Who Cried Monster and Haunted Mask 2. Those were the ones that always scared me as a kid.
Werewolf of Fever. I always got freaked out, and we'll get off this tangent.
Oh yeah, that sequence was very freaky.
I just love your costumes.
I love that.
Like Haunted Mask 2, though, like all the scenes where like the mask is like warping on Steve's face, you see his hands like transform into old man hands and stuff. That's just like, ugh.
There were two scenes, we'll get off this tangent in a second, but there were two scenes in the original series that freaked me out the most. One was the dream sequence in Scarecrow Walks at Midnight with the grandparents as scarecrows. That freaked me out. And the other was mostly due to the Cartoon Network promo. The Cartoon Network promos scared the hell out of me.
The Grindhouse style promos. And
the scene where the mummy sits up in Don't Wake Mummy and then turns around and he looks at the kid. That freaked me out as a kid.
The mummy design for that show is terrifying.
It's like horrifying as a kid.
That episode was creepier than Return of the Mummy. Like it was better.
Well, because it's scary when a mummy's in your house as opposed to a tomb. Like having like an undead thing in your basement is creepy. That's a creepy concept.
That freaked me out. That was great.
But moving on. And Soda mentioned the Goosebumps the game. The video game that is for Nintendo 3DS, PC, Xbox, I think PS4. I don't remember where all these games came out on for consoles, but it was a point-and-click game that was tied in with the movie. And I am too impatient / stupid to play point-and-click adventure games, so I haven't finished that game. I played a little bit of it, and I got into it, and I was like, I'm bored. But I hear it's actually a very faithful Goosebumps adaptation. It not only adapts to the movies, but there's a lot of references to books that were not in the movie.
Oh yeah, like Beast from the East in there, like Monster Blood. There's a level of like a thing of Monster Blood. The camera, like there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so it was I hear it's an interesting game. It's just probably not one I'll ever beat because point-and-click games are not my thing, especially on a console. If you're gonna play a point-and-click game, play it on a computer. Don't play it on a 3DS or an Xbox.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
That's a computer game.
And then finally, the last one I want to talk about is one that I have a lot of memories of. EnterHorrorland.com. Around the time that Horrorland came out. Did you guys play that online game? No?
I did.
I did. That was a treat. Every Horrorland book, you guys got to remember, you guys probably remember this. At the end of every Horrorland book, it said, visit enterhorrorland.com. And they always had a map. And that was for that game, is that every time a new book came out, they added to this online game a new map. And there was games you can play, and then there'd be a boss. I remember the first one was you played as Mr. Wood, and you fought Slappy in like a Street Fighter sort of game. Yeah, you remember that?
I do remember that. And I remember
like
thinking, why is Mr. Wood in this?
And you literally beat Slappy up, and it was so fun. And like that was great. Like that was when online games were fun. I miss that era when like online flash games were just everywhere. Like that was a
Dude,
lot of
I
fun.
love that website. I loved the music on that website too. Like I used to use
Yes.
it as my outro. Do you remember my old videos, my outro?
Yes.
Use the Horrorland Escape website music. I
I
loved
remember that I would always have to make sure the volume was turned down because that lightning sound effect when you open up the website was so loud. It
Oh,
was like ear piercing.
Yeah.
So I'd have to make sure my volume was down every time I booted up the website.
We should do
But-
an episode on here where we literally just like revisit the old websites and like somehow put it up on screen so we can like
using Wayback Machine or something.
Wayback
like
Machine, I have it on the list of
Because, like,
episode topics.
I remember going to like those classic website that had like had like the little clips from the episodes of the show. Like I can't find that because that's probably like discontinued now. But like I remember visiting that site all the time and watching those little clips.
Yeah.
I can't watch it with the clips, but I have visited the old website through Wayback Machine. It can be done, and we'll do an episode on that in the future.
100% do that.
Yeah, no, but Goosebumps video games. I mean, I hope there's more coming out. I mean, there is one coming out. Goosebumps Tower of Terror and Cosmic Forces. If you want to, give us a little sponsor, we'll sponsor your game. Cosmic Forces has been pretty active in the Goosebumps community. They have very recently, a lot of people on Twitter, including myself, actually got a free Steam code for Dead of Night as a promotion for the new Goosebumps series, the TV series on Disney Plus. They gave out free Steam codes for Dead of Night, which is pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully Tower of Terror turns out good. Hopefully it's a different kind of game. I'd like to see something that's not like a platformer. I'd like to see
survival game.
Yeah, like a survival game. I'd like a survival game, or like something like that.
Like a puzzle game. I mean, just like a puzzle game.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for a puzzle game.
Yeah, that would work as a puzzle game.
Yeah, like kind of on the lines of like Poppy Playtime or something like that. Like that kind of idea.
So it chases you like.
Yeah, it's just the executioners.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, well, that's all the time we have for today, everybody, for the Goosebumps Crew podcast. I want to thank all my Goosebumps cohorts here, Ultimate Goosebumps Man, Minnesota Goosebumps fan, Goosebumps Aussie fan, and Shawin for joining me once again. If you guys like this episode, don't forget to give us a sub here at the Goosebumps channel for future episodes, and of course, more Goosebumps videos to come. And of course, give a follow and a sub to all these wonderful people at their social medias and their YouTubes. They definitely deserve it. And yeah, so join us next time for another episode. We're still kind of figuring out our schedule of topics, but we're going to have some really cool stuff to talk about in the future. A lot of very interesting guests are lined up, and you guys are not going to want to miss it. So go ahead and give us a sub here at the Goosebumps channel. We're also going to have, we're still in development of this, but we are currently joining forces with a podcast network. And soon we'll be able to be found on Spotify and Apple Music, and even get a few sponsorships in the future. So if you guys want to see more of that, go ahead and give us a sub. Keep an eye out on new updates. And for all of us here at the Goosebumps Crew Podcast, this has been the Goosebumps channel, and we want to thank you guys for joining us. So we will see you next time.